Hey everybody, welcome to Forex Trading Analysis for Synergy FX. It's 9:36 p.m. on June the 10th, and today we're going to be looking at three pairs, but before we get started, quick risk disclaimer. Foreign exchange trading carries a high level of risk. Before you decide to trade foreign exchange, we encourage you to consider your investment objectives, your risk tolerance, and trading experience. It is possible to lose some or all of your initial investment, so please don't invest money you can't afford to lose. Seek advice from an independent financial or tax advisor, and all information provided is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as trading advice or counsel. So today we had a very interesting day on this first Sunday. We had a huge gap to the upside, which is something that you don't usually ever see. At least I haven't seen in my time trading. Almost a 130 pip gap to the upside from the euro dollar, as well as every other pair seemed to gap up or gap down. The US dollar was the biggest gap down over the weekend. So that is basically what that means, is that is creation of money. And so whether that's creation of euros or destruction of dollars, you could tell me that, but what that means is that basically that some organization has decided that they want to pump money into the system for some reason, and that could come through the creation of bonds, or it could be another source that a central government uses to create money. So we did see a huge gap up to the upside. So what this means for some people is that we could see a little bit more buying, but for me, this usually means that we should see increasingly large moves to the downside. So when I saw the gap up, I immediately sold and took about 20 pips profit for a quick, really quick trade. I kind of wanted to get in and out, and had a pretty nice trade on the open around 5 o'clock today. And while I do think that we still do have a lot of room to move to the upside, I think that the euro especially does have a little bit more room to run to the upside. But in the immediate future, I do think that we could see a very large move to the downside, a lot like back in the middle of May when we had a small push to the upside and then long days to the downside. I think that eventually for the euro, we are headed to around 1.12. When that does happen, I'm not really the one to say. We could enter a little bit of range-bound trading, but for now, I do think that we should see more weakness in the euro, and I don't think that the crisis is by any stretch of the imagination over, or that the euro will continue to move down. So those are my views right now, but those are a little bit longer term, and I do want to make this sort of shorter term videos. So like I said, I did have a little, there was a really nice opportunity around the open. If I had made the video around then, I kind of wish I did, but so we did see a little bit of a push to the downside immediately from the gap on the euro open, and basically that drove a bunch of the other pairs in that direction as well. So currently RSI is printing at 70.13, and if this bar does close there, then we should see possibly a little bit more weakness, but I do believe that we are headed a little bit more to the upside before a continuation of the downtrend does continue. So it's one thing I do like from the euro. One more pair that I want to take a look at is the New Zealand dollar, which is a little bit more extended to the upside, a little bit less risk. So if you are looking to place a short trade on the New Zealand dollar, this is a pretty nice place to do it. Your risks are pretty low considering RSI is currently printing at 74, which is a strongly overbought signal. I would probably wait for this bar to close in about 20 minutes before I do enter a short, though, because they could, if you're going to squeeze shorts, you usually do it all the way into the close. So that is one pair that I really do like right now. The New Zealand dollar is pretty extended to the upside. The gap was a little bit smaller, but that's because we have been in a pretty strong up move over the past few days. So there weren't as many buyers for the New Zealand dollar as there were for the euro, and possibly sellers of the dollar. So this is another pair that I do like right now, just based on the fact that we are a little bit extended to the upside. RSI on the daily charts is printing at around 57.75. So while we aren't in any particular, we aren't in overbought or oversold, if we do continue to see an up push and a strong up push from the New Zealand dollar, I'll be looking for continuations for breakdowns and definitely a continuation of the downtrend that we've seen over the past couple months. The last pair I do want to take a look at really quickly is the US dollar Swedish krona, which currently has been in a uptrend over the past few weeks and the past few months, really. And the krona is a pair that is a little bit tough to trade. It tends to be very choppy, so I do like to get in and out really quickly with it. I definitely like to wait for bars to close because it has correlation with other markets. I do like to see strength into the close rather than strength during the middle of the day. So that is one thing that I do like to take a look at from this pair. The US dollar, I do believe, is in an uptrend, and I think that that uptrend will continue, just based on the fact that we have seen a little bit of breakdown in the equity markets for the US, which means that the dollar will become a little bit more valuable. And I do see a continuation of the uptrend, especially from this pair, considering the fact that we are in oversold conditions. RSI right now is at 27.8, and it reached all the way down to 22.8. So definitely, I think, again, we might have a little bit more to run to the downside. We could possibly see all the way to 7. And if we do see down there, then it'll be a nice little support area that your risk will be low to enter a long trade. So those are my views on the market right now. I'm going to also bring up the news for this week. Wednesday is going to be a pretty big day for the New Zealand dollar. So while I talked about it a little bit, there's a press conference, and as well as cash rate and a bunch of other US dollar news. So probably Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be some big moves from the New Zealand dollar especially. So keep an eye out for that. And again, if you are going to enter a short trade, make sure to enter your stops pretty tightly because we should see a lot of movement from that pair, especially in the beginning of the week and into Wednesday. So those are the things I have to say right now. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and good luck trading.